Hello everybody, my name is Smakrix. We're going to be doing My Little Pony content for the first time, starting with this new series called You Can't Spell Slaughter Without Laughter by Tatsuro, which I heard is going to be a really good story. I'm surprised nobody's ever done this series yet. It's just mixing Pinkie Pie and Kratos together. Yeah, that's all. But it should make up for a really cool dynamic, but with further ado, let's just jump to the story. Kratos stared down at the fallen body of Orcos, the Oath Keeper, son of Ares and the Fury Queen, his friend. At Orcos' request, he had granted the incapable warrior the honorable death he so desperately wanted. Kratos was of the opinion that the ancient yet young man had proven himself a warrior at heart and had earned it. With the death of Orcos, Kratos' blood oath to Ares was broken, and the god of war lost all power to control him. But at the same time, the painful memories of all he had done, the murders of his wife and daughter, the dreadful slaughter he had done, all that, calm of his dreadful ambition, rushed back into his mind. As he sank to his knees, he struggled to deal with the pain of his own actions, the weight of his grief. When he reached the end of the path of blood, he found a large crystal resembling those representing the blood oaths that Orcos had once kept as the Oath Keeper, only much larger. Stuck to the front of the crystal near a fracture that led into it was a scrap of parchment with what Kratos recognized as a message inscribed by the scribe of Hecatonchirus, the madman imprisoned by the Furies who had kept such dutiful records to stave off his own madness. The child within made no oath to gods, and yet found her way to the Furies' prison. As her oath was not one the Furies concerned themselves with, they left her untouched, with no tortures save that which her own mind crafted for her. Kratos' eyes widened. "A child?" he asked, shocked. What child could be imprisoned as an oath breaker? Moving to the fracture in the crystal, he saw that it was too narrow for him to squeeze through. Gripping it with both hands, he struggled to force it open. As the fissure widened, a voice called from within.
"No, you mustn't. I cannot be freed."
Kratos paused. That voice had been the voice of a child, a little girl. After his visions of the death of his own daughter, Calliope, which he had caused, that voice staggered him. After a moment, he managed to get himself under control. "It is all right," he said into the crevice. "What could you have done to deserve this?" He pushed the crack open wider so he could see inside. The interior of the crystal chamber was shadowed. All he could make out clearly was a head of crimson hair on a head turned away from him.
"I broke my promise.
The little girl whimpered.
I broke my promise, and now they're all gone. It's all my fault. All because I broke my promise. I have to be punished."
Kratos closed his eyes in pain. That she should face such trauma and blame herself. No one should force a little girl through that. He steeled himself to continue to speak to her. "So you will remain in here forever?" he asked. "Will you let your mistake destroy you?" In his urgency to help the trapped child, he unwittingly made himself realize some things about his own problems. The head turned towards him, and pure blue eyes stared up at him through the crack, which fought his efforts to open it wider.
"But what else can I do?
Kratos shook his head. "You made a mistake," he said. "You broke a promise, and something bad happened. Do you plan to wallow in that for the rest of your life?" The blue eyes tilted in thought.
What should I do?"
she asked. "You can go out and undo the wrong you have done," Kratos said firmly. "I have wrought great wrongs for my own ambitions. The pain of those mistakes and their consequences plague my mind and heart. But I will not be beaten by them. I'm Spartan. I am a warrior. What of you? Are you a warrior or a warrior?" The voice inside the crystal giggled.
"Can't I be both? A war warrior or a war warrior? A war.
She broke off in another fit of giggles, her crimson hair seeming to lighten, becoming both paler and fuller.
That's funny to say.
Kratos didn't really see the humor, but he felt the need to encourage the child. Yes, it is amusing. Not much amusement inside your prison here, is there? The eyes lowered.
No. But do I deserve amusement?
Kratos struggled to push the crack open wider, but it fought him all the stronger as the weight of the child's despair seemed to increase. Inspiration struck him. You failed to save some. Wallowing will not make up for it. Work to save others instead, so that when you stand before Hades, the weight of your mistakes is balanced by the weight of your deeds. The eyes looked up at him.
Do you really think that will work?
I have to believe it, he replied, feeling the crystal start to weaken. He pushed it open a bit wider, enough to see the child smiling up at him.
I don't know if I can do it alone, though,
she whispered softly. Kratos felt his heart sink as he heard the child's pain, so strongly echoing his own loss. I will help you, he found himself saying. The eyes blinked at him.
Promise?
Kratos paused. The promise he'd made to Ares had gotten him into so much trouble, had brought about the deaths of those he cared for most. But Orcos guided him here with his death. He would not have guided him to more trouble. I promise.
A pinky promise?
The child asked. Kratos blinked, then chuckled. I do not know this pinky promise. Will you teach me? The head inside the crystal nodded eagerly, her hair now bouncing with her motions as the crystal started to crumble around her.
It goes, cross my heart,
she said, drawing an X over her heart.
Hope to fly,
she continued, making flying motions. Kratos released the crack in the crystal so his hands were free. Cross my heart, he said, doing the motions. Hope to fly.
Stick a cupcake in my eye,
the voice in the crystal finished, covering one eye. Stick a cupcake in my eye, Kratos echoed, covering one eye. What is a cupcake? Something bright and colorful with the consistency of cake was flung from the crystal to land in his hand.
It's a dessert,
the little girl affirmed.
It's a really delicious sweet treat.
Smiling, Kratos took a bite of the pastry. The sweet taste assaulted his mouth, more delicious than anything he had ever tried. Is this ambrosia? He asked, thinking it was food of the gods. The child giggled as the crystal prison lost its luster.
No, silly, it's just a cupcake.
Kratos took another bite. Too delicious to put in my eye, he muttered. Another giggle echoed from inside the crystal before it shattered. A tiny pink equine with a poofy pink mane and tail and bright blue eyes looked up at Kratos, grinning from ear to ear.
Ha, glad you like it.
Kratos stared at the child, the filly, now that she was revealed. You're a pony?
And you're a human,
she replied happily. She bounced around him, looking him all over.
I'm Pinkie Pie. What's your name?
He stared down at her, somewhat confused. Despite many encounters with the various non-mortal creatures of Greece and the surrounding areas, a talking tiny pony was a little outside his experience. Kratos, he said slowly.
Kratos?
She asked.
That's a funny-sounding name.
He frowned. Pinkie Pie sounds rather unusual to me.
Fair enough,
she said happily, beaming from ear to ear. Raising a hoof, she scratched her chin.
Well, I've decided,
she said firmly. Decided? He asked, somewhat nervously.
You said I should work to save people,
she pointed out.
I decided I'm going to start with you.
Kratos blinked. What can you save me from? He asked. Leaping up, she clung to one of his shoulders while poking his mouth with her other forehoof.
Whatever's left you with such a firm frown on your face, I'm going to make you smile again.
Kratos shook his head. I doubt if you'll be able to. There's too much pain in me.
Then I'll just have to balance that pain with as much joy as I can until you can smile again, right?
She asked, grinning widely as she looked him straight in the eyes. Kratos looked at her for a while, then lowered his gaze with a sigh. I have a lot to make up for, Pinkie Pie. The path I walk will be a dangerous one.
Then I'll walk it with you, she promised, and make you smile again one day. She dropped to the ground. Cross my heart, she said, making the motions. Hope to fly, stick a cupcake in my eye. Actually flattening a cupcake against her eye on the last line, she then licked her face clean with an absurdly long tongue.
Kratos chuckled ruefully. All right, keep up if you can, he said softly.
Pinkie Pie bounced around him happily. I will, she said eagerly.
He tilted his head. How old are you, Pinkie? Pinkie took a deep breath and stuck her hoof in her mouth. As she blew on that forehoof, 4 finger-like protrusions slowly popped out of her other forehoof.
This many,
she said, wiggling the finger-like protrusions before they were reabsorbed into her hoof. Kratos nodded. Well, try not to fall too far behind, he said, turning to walk down the path, away from the place he once called home.
So there we have it. That's the first episode of You Can't Spell Slaughter Without Laughter. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is my first video, so if this video turns out kind of buns, well, that's because it's my first video, and I have no prior experience to making a video like this. But, thank you everyone for bearing with me. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your days, and catch you on the flip side.